Hello, everybody. Everybody. All right. So, let's get back to this. Waiting for people to show up, maybe, but mostly just final stages of preparation here. I have a problem with my home network that's kind of an annoying problem. Yeah. Anyway, that I'm not going to solve right now, but it's one that I need to start paying attention to. It involves IPv6, but I think there's more to it than that. So now let's see here. So back to our good friend the parser here. So I think the next thing that I want to add is I think Boolean operations. I think is the next thing that I want to add. And then after that, we can add conditionals, and then some kind of looping construct. Probably just a while loop. And I'll model this after C. And the goal here is just not to really, as I said, there's no programming language that I want to make exactly. It's just a proof of concept, just testing something out to make sure that I can actually get it to work. And then after the looping construct, some kind of aggregate, declaring new types as aggregates. And then I think that will be it. That will be done with this project. So let's get to the first step here. So I'm not quite sure what to call this next thing because it's an expression, and basically what we're going to have to be modifying expression, and then we're going to have so this is the raw parsing of this. So we have term, we have bool term being either bool term that's not the way I'm specifying term here is not right. So it should be either term or bool term followed by an and then factor, or not factor, term. And honestly, I should change this to be factor or term. And then we'll have term be is a bool term followed by term. Yes. And then and actually we need another level. Yeah. That's what we're going to end up having to do. I don't like the way we're defining expression here. I'm going to leave it for now because I'm not quite sure what to replace it with. And I don't like the names of these productions. I would like to think of them differently. Although, I mean, factor, then you factor a prime number, you get a bunch of things you multiply together to get the prime number. So these are factors. But this is right, and then the term, and then you add terms together to get something. And I want the ampersand and the or, I want them to be I want them to be something other than yeah, I don't know what better to name them. But this is what we got so far. Um, no pointers. Everything's going to be end up. I don't even know that I'll end up with functions here. I don't think I want to necessarily define functions. That would be kind of a maybe we'll get to actually doing functions. All right. This means that here I'm going to have to say that parse expression is now going to be changed to parse bool term. Oh, except did I do a refactory name? Yeah, I need to do a refactory name. Did it get changed everywhere? Let's make sure. Let's see if there's even a parse expression at all in here. No more parse expression. That's good. Yep, I've got renamed parse bool term. There's the first modification. Another modification. Good. Okay, that's what it got renamed. And now we're going to have another one. That's parse expression. Just a bit. I got a thing to pay attention to here. As I pay attention to this external thing. Indeed. There we go. All right. So we're going to add back in the parse expression. And we're going to change parse statement to call parse expression. Right? There we go. And here, I'm basically going to grab parse bool term and then kind of modify it into being parse expression, because it's going to be very much the same. And since there's a lot of repeated code here, it makes me kind of wonder whether I could somehow repeat less stuff. And here we'll rename this to like that, and this to parse bool term, and that's still at what's the column number? 66. So still got plenty of columns left. Terms dot, and here we're going to have to go back here to tokens and add more tokens. So there we go. Now we have 2 new tokens, and we're going to have to now we have 2 character operators, and we're going to be looking here at case, right? And then this isn't going to be operator plus, means we're going to have to add 2 more. Can I use SV here? I don't think I can. Yep, I cannot. Alright, we'll do it this way then. Yep, like that. And this is also fall through. This is ugly. So basically I'm checking, does the first character an ampersand? Then, if the whole thing is ampersand, ampersand, we found ourselves a Boolean and. And we're in namespace tokens, so we don't even have to say tokens here. That's why all those. So actually, I'm going to do a thing here. And then this is a no, we want to replace, right? So basically we want to find out everywhere where we have tokens here in this function. We want to go like this. Oh, come on. Okay. Let's find it again. And add selection. So Alt J. No. There is a way to make this work. IntelliJ there. That is the thing that I wanted it to do. Because the tokens, everything was already in namespace tokens : So the tokens : was totally redundant and unnecessary. That's why we wanted to remove it. So yeah. So this is the way we did this is kind of ugly. Looking, is the first character an ampersand? And if the whole string is an ampersand, then we go, yep, we got it. And we break from our case. Otherwise, we fall through. And this doesn't actually do anything. This just tells the compiler, yep, we meant to fall through. This isn't an error. This is what we meant to do. And it also tells everybody else who's reading the code that indeed that was intentional. And here, if we fall through, we don't even care whether this is true, but we then also check this. But of course, since the first character is ampersand, this of course can't be true, and so it will fall through here and go to there. So then that's fine. So ampersand will only work if it's actually ampersand. If we add a single ampersand at some point in time but forget to update this code, it will still be treated as not an operator. If we go back up here and add a single ampersand at some point in time. Now, then the next case is, okay, suppose it's a OR, right? It's a bar. So we find the first character is a bar. So then we check, is it bar? Then if it's bar, then we know we got the Boolean OR, right? And we break out of the case. Otherwise, we fall through to unexpected operator. And so this gets also invoked in the case where it starts with ampersand. It just can't be true, and so it falls through. And yeah, it is kind of ugly and it's a little overly clever, but it will accomplish the goal that I have here. Okay. So now we added tokens for this. And I need to add tests to make sure that those tokens get parsed correctly. And that single ampersands do get flagged as being an unknown token. As do, yes. Actually, 3 ampersands will get flagged with the trailing ampersand as an unknown token, but 4 ampersands will be 2 ampersand tokens. So, yes. Now let's go back up here to parse bool term. Here, okay. Expected bool term, parse aborted. Then we get, and here we want and there we go. And technically, I believe in C, let's check. Let's search for operator precedence here. Okay. So all these operators are all like, this is like the hot in this, yep. And we aren't doing any of these, but then, we don't have percent. I should probably add a percent operator. It should be at the same precedence level as all of these. But we have these two. We don't have any of these yet. I should add them. And then these. And so actually these two exist at 2 different precedence levels. And so I need to have 2 different productions for them. They do not exist at the same precedence level. And so, and binds more tightly than or does. And so, yeah. And I want to keep that particular difference in this not C language that is going to look a lot like C. So that's kind of annoying. I have to change bool term to being or term. Yeah, this is going to be annoying. So we'll get this finished first, and then we'll fix it to be what we want instead, what we actually want. Treating and or we could just not do that precedence rule and say it's left to right in our language, and we don't have any, there's no operator precedence between and or, and so they're considered the same. Could do that. Why not? It isn't C. We don't have to. I don't want to take the time and effort to make a separate precedence level just so that and or can exist at separate precedence levels. Okay, we'll do that. So all this stuff remains the same, except they're checking for this instead of this other thing. And then Also, we're going to change this to, going to rename this to and so this should work. Yep, because this. Yep, this should all work. I just thought of a terrible. This works, but oh my, this is terrible. It's true. It's very clever. And I can eliminate all these else breaks, right? Like that. There. Yeah, it works. I can fix all the other ones the same way. All right then. The next thing we have to do is in the implementation for bool term down. Do we have? I think we have all the implementations for things in here too. Yeah, we do. So binary operation evaluate. Right, we'll do it that way. The break is redundant, but I'm putting it in just because. There. And there should be a comma. All right. Okay. All of our tests should function just fine because none of them actually test any of this stuff. So now we have to have, the tokenizer test needs to have a new tokens. Not invalid tokens, but with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Get 8 tokens. Ah, it's wrong. We don't have Boolean keywords. Token identifier, unsigned integer operator, Where do I have identifiers? And then the value. Okay, yep. Plus, plus. All right, that's what we want here. And here we want false to be at position 4. Position 4. We want false. That's exactly what we want here. And then the next we want, yep, that's what we want here. Identifier true. Yep, that's exactly what we want. Okay. Now let's try run all tests. Do we get what we expect? Yep. Okay. So the Boolean operators are being parsed as Boolean operators. And let's try that. And indeed, that fails, so we know that this test is being run. All right. All right. Now the parser test. So I want to get a drink. So switch away from this. Actually, that's exactly what I expected. So I'm actually suffering mightily from a lack of caffeine as well. So I think I'm going to get this test done, and I'm going to call it for the day. I don't think I'm up for some of the other stuff I need to get done, to some of the later things I want to do with this. But let's see here. Well, first of all, this is a parser test, not a tokenizer test. And second of all, we don't want this. We want I'm going to have to this is going to, oddly enough, this is a more complicated case than most of the rest of them because there's a bunch of things that I want to test here. Yeah, I want to test the whole and or truth table is what I want to do. And I also want to test some precedence rules. So this is going to be kind of complicated. So 5 minus 1 times 5. So one thing is I want to check that the star and minus precedence rules are working the way they are. 4 times 5 will be 20, but 5 minus 1 times 5 will be 0. So it should be false. And we'll say 1. So this is going to be true. So this should be false. So then we have so this, if evaluated correctly, should be 0 and 1. So this should be 0. This, evaluated correctly, should be 5 times 6, 30 minus 6, 25, 24, and 1, so it should be 1. Now, yes. Evaluated incorrectly with this precedence, this should end up being 0 and 1, and that should be 0. So it should be the same as the above case if it's evaluated incorrectly. Now 5 times 6 minus 6 and 1, so if 6 and 1 is evaluated before the minus, then 6 and 1 should evaluate to 1, and it should be so this one should have a value of 1, and there will be various problems if it doesn't. 5 and 1, yep, okay. So I want to make sure that all the different possible error cases actually result in errors. Yes. And then here we want to say I am really tired and I just can't concentrate very hard on this. I'm sorry. I'm just not in the right state to do this. I'm too addled by lack of caffeine. And the only person I've picked up is a spammer. So, no. This guy was on Twitch. So let's all take care of the spammer. There. Banned. I'm just too tired. So I'm going to stop this stream for now. Maybe I'll come back to it tomorrow. I'll definitely be back Monday. I just don't have the concentration to be able to do it today. Again, lack of caffeine. I go off of caffeine on the weekends. So that tends to cause me to be kind of feeling kind of dull on the weekends sometimes, and today is particularly bad. So I will stop for today and continue on Monday probably. I will definitely be better by Monday. Which Monday is Labor Day, also holiday. I'll probably stream lots of extra, like from noon to something on Monday. So